So where am I going? What am I doing? Why am I having a break at 100? This was a bit of a test for me to see if I could be consistent enough in doing something on my own and creating something that I felt like I could do reasonably effortlessly. And that's kind of what it turned into. Is I set a goal for maybe like 10. And I hit that really quick, and I'm like, let's do 25, right? So I made myself up a little spreadsheet of like what I wanted to do, and I planned out a bunch of videos, and I pumped them out. You know, I first started to check this out. You'll notice episode 1, the Queen episode, I'm really quite, hey guys, you know, swearing a bit more than I probably usually would, just talking shit, just blah, blah, blah. And I was really subdued, and I was just, you know, I was in a shit mood, right? And I was trying to cheer myself up. So I did that, and I put it on Facebook straight away. I just streamed it immediately to Facebook. No intention of putting it on YouTube whatsoever. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to keep doing these, and I'll just dump them on YouTube, because I know that I've got, you know, maybe like 900 people on Facebook. People don't give a shit about local stuff. No offense to my friends, of course. They care about what I'm doing or whatever, but realistically, in your hometown, no one gives a fuck about what you're doing. So think bigger. And I thought, well, there are more people in the world that like this stuff than there is in my small circle of people that I know. They don't listen to heaps of Britney or Mariah or Gloria Gaynor, or, you know what I mean? Like, the list of what I've got on this channel is so sporadic and different compared to what people would want to hear, because I do get a lot of requests for rock stuff, which is what my town is all about. Everyone really loves that kind of gear, the heavy music and blues music and stuff like that, very guitar-based sort of things. That's not my stuff. There's what I want is not catered for here, and I'm trying to do that for myself. Am I looking for it? No, but it's not apparent to me enough for me to go and seek it. So, you know, why bother when I could create it? And even then, I'm not really creating it. All I'm doing is going through them and listening to them. Do you ever hear that thing about like a mental health practice to figure out what your problems are, is to deconstruct them? You might spread them all out and have a look at your things. If you've got a big problem that might be so jarring to you that you can't solve it, of course you're not going to solve it because it's too big. So you take it apart into its elements and you look at them and you solve them one puzzle, one little thing at a time. That's what this show does for my head, is I take these songs and I pull them apart and I see the kick drum and then the snare and then the hi-hats, and I see these things and I realise that this song as a whole, this Goliath, this... any song, Michael Jackson tracks, Miss Jackson by Outkast or whatever, you hear these things and they're so untouchably good. I hear some people sniggering about the Miss Jackson thing, but it really is. It's bigger than any song you've ever put out, trust me. And you go, oh wow, this is a few basic elements and some really, really good songwriting. And it shows you, and it shows me, and it shows us all that it doesn't matter how good you are or how good you think you are, there's still somewhere to go, and simplicity really is key. Once you pull everything apart, everything doing its little job in its little way, you put it all together and you get this gigantic tapestry of gorgeous art and sound. I might be bullshitting here, but if you know what I'm talking about, then you're on the page and we know where we are. This has been a really, really great thing for me to be able to sit down night after night. And sometimes if I don't want to sit down one night, I'll do 2 the day before so I can have one go up and consistently deliver something to you guys every single day for 100 days. To start with, I released them about a month away from when they would record. So I recorded one and did like 7, and then I didn't stream anything on Facebook for a week, and then I did like 6 more, and I'm like, hey, I got like 15 or 16 now. I should start putting them up on YouTube. So the first day I loaded 2 up, and then I realised, hang on a minute, don't do that again. Let's do one every single day and be consistent. And I'd put them on at around 6 or 7 o'clock my time in Australia. Nobody was watching. Nobody cared. That's because most of the people in the world don't live in Bendigo, Victoria, Australia. They live everywhere else. So I checked out after I put a few videos up and some of them started to go okay, where are people watching and what time are they watching it? And I realised, hey, cool, I could put it on at 10 in the morning and I could watch it, while I'm at work or whatever. Or I could put it on at 8 o'clock, and then I realised people are still watching it earlier than that overseas. So I changed them to 5 a.m., which seems to be a pretty good time for you guys to watch them. And I like to set them as a premiere because I think it's cool to just kind of do that. I'm rarely in the chats because I'm really up at 5 a.m., but it's a good place to put them, and it's reaching you guys really well. I mean, I'm looking at Through the Rain. Mariah Carey was only up on the 4th of September. Today's the 8th. That's 4 days ago. It's already got 1,000. These are small numbers, right? But you've got to remember, I've done zero to actively promote this. Zero. I have not done a sponsored post. I haven't paid anyone to inflate my views or subscribership. This is all real, actual, honest data, and I'm very proud of that. Because I know that it happens. It's very easy. If you go to like Social Blade, for example, you can see people's information on when and where they've inflated their views and they've paid for stuff, because it goes up to, it rounds out to a nearest 1,000 or whatever, but there's 0, 0, 0, boom, 20,000 in a week. That's a little bit suspicious. I mean, I've heard it going viral, but nothing like that. I strongly disbelieve that is an honest count, and my goal with this was to stay true to that. Like, not that I got heaps of great morals or anything, but I really wanted to just do this on my own. I didn't want handouts from my mates. I didn't need my friends sharing it around and all that kind of stuff. I just wanted to see who it got to, and if they were real people who really genuinely enjoyed this. And I mean, besides like 4 assholes, everyone has been really, really good, and it's reached those people and they've really enjoyed it and shared it to the point where I've had people add me on Facebook or I don't encourage you to continue to do that. No, I'm not going to be on there for long, so but I appreciate it though. I appreciate it. The couple that I've had a chat to have been really, really lovely, and not only that, they've also been a really friendly resource too. I've had a couple of people who have provided me with a few things to add to the show, and that's been really great. So I mean, I definitely encourage that. Please do. I should add an email in which you can submit some things to me as well, because this is, again, another reason to have a break. This is a finite resource. A lot of people always ask me, where do you get the stems? Where do you get the stems? Where do you get the stems? And I really can't encourage people to go out and use them. A lot of the ones that I started with, the first maybe 10 or so episodes, a lot of the Michael Jackson stuff and a lot of the Queen stuff and Jamiroquai, I had that already. I've had that for years. But there are online communities and other places, resources and all that kind of stuff that I have utilized just from being involved in music for a long time. I'm not an expert. I know people from around doing sound locally and working with musicians and bands and mastering engineers and mixing engineers and stuff like that, that have pointed me in the direction to find things like this. But not everybody's intention is honourable, and a lot of people are going to try to rip these people off, and I'm not one of them. None of these videos are monetized right now, and I don't really see the need in doing that at this point. I feel like it's more important to me to have I don't as soon as there's money involved, it becomes a chore. It becomes a real pain in the ass, and I don't want to be dealing with copyright claim bullshit and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'll monetize this channel one day, absolutely, but at 1,000 subscribers, what's the point? And then I've got every single video that I've got up has a copyright claim on it. I contested maybe 50 odd of those and won like 45, which was really, really good. When I say won, I mean they timed out, so I got to keep the copyright and continue to use it. But some of them are partially blocked in Russia. The Prince one took a month and a half to come out because it was just Warner or all over Prince's stuff, which so they should be. They really should. He always was. But yeah, it's definitely a finite resource. So I mean, I would come up some days to the computer and be like, oh, what are people going to like? What should I do? And I would be really kind of, and then I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to do what I want to do. And that's the weeks and the days that you'll see things like I'll Be There by Michael Jackson, Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa, Daddy Cool, Boney M, Nights Over Egypt by the Jones Girls. They're the times where I'm like, no, I want to do what I want to do. I'm not here to give you all Britney and Mariah every day, because I want to do the things that make me happy. So Kylie's in there. I did a Shakira one, Dare, La La La, never heard it in my life, and just did it on the pure fact that you guys love Shakira, and that's totally fine with me. It did horribly, but Together Again, Janet Jackson. I did a lot of Janet Jackson there because I thought it was cool. I liked the songs when they came out. Someone asked me to do Billie Eilish, Ocean Eyes, and that came with Logic, so of course I was going to do that. The Britney stuff, Dangerous Woman. I had someone lovely send me some resources for Ariana Grande, and that was really good. I did that one purely for that person. That was someone's birthday. Julius. It was Julius's birthday, so yeah, I'm really happy to have done that for you guys. But yeah, I wanted to do I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. I wanted to do Gin and Juice by Snoop Dogg, and I know some mates that really wanted me to do that one as well. But yeah, it's not to say all good things must come to an end, but it's definitely time to have a bit of a rest and do some things like that. And not only I have a very cool long-term project in the works with one of my best mates, Mr. Cody Jones, the comedian, which I'll link to his channel in here as well. We've been working on this for actually quite a while, but it's called Bonk City Detectives, right? So basically, Cody and I play these two buffoon detectives. It's a comedy cop web series, and we're halfway. We're like literally 50% done. We have 3 episodes that are out. We have 3 more to go. We got set back so hard. We did a Kickstarter. We raised $10,000, and I've probably only got about 75% of the rewards out so far. It's just been an absolute fucking nightmare in my brain to handle that. That's all been sitting in my lounge room, and I've just been hacking away at it. We hadn't been able to get together for a really long time because we kept getting locked down. We kept having restrictions on how we could work, and it turned in from a project that would only take the 2 of us to a project that relied on a couple of other people as well. Not any specific people, but it relied on us gathering more people to be involved, and that can be logistically a little bit of a time. And also, I think we just burn ourselves out a little bit too quick on it. But we're ready and we're back, and the focus is coming into that, so we can get that done. The weather in Australia is about to turn gorgeously. It's just hit spring. We've gone through a fucking miserable winter, pardon the French, but you know, like I said, we're all adults here, and we're ready to film that. We're ready to get that finished. We're ready to get that out, and I can't wait because it is going to be hilarious. I really love working with Cody. We've done the entire Flow State podcast, which has about 50-something episodes out, where you can just see us talking shit for hours. And not only that, on the if you go onto the Facebook for the Flow State podcast, there is every time we had an episode out for like 40 episodes, we did an after party. So we would just get, like, I put on a lot of weight at this stage. This was lockdown time. We started a few months before the lockdown. And then during the lockdown, every single night after an episode would premiere, which was at weekly, we would just get pissed. We would sit and drink at our computers and just talk about what we had just, seen in the episode, and would just have a good time. It was great. So not only every episode, which would go for about 35 to an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, depending on if you got David Icke on or not. We do have an episode with David Icke at 33. Go and find that. But we had an additional side podcast there that was going for just as long as the other one. So there's over 100 hours of us talking shit out there. Take everything with a grain of salt. It is a comedy podcast, so we don't really believe a lot of the things we're saying. And, it was a tough time, all right? Mental health was low in COVID, so we were just trying to work some shit out together, okay? That's my defense for anything horrible I would have said. But there is some cool stuff on there. I'll put a clip in here of a trailer to an episode where I describe my alien abduction experience, and Cody made this hilarious trailer for it, so I'm going to play that for you right now. Because I experienced a real alien abduction.
And then there's another one up there, and there's one trailing behind it.
And it was the coolest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. I was asleep in my house and I heard very, very large, thunderous sound.
Did it just go? Did it just fucking disappear?
And then he pulled a thing out and I'm like, that's going to go in my ass, isn't it? Then I felt it go in, actually inside my ass. You can smell that something's been in a bum when you go into a room. Okay, so I won't spoil anything there, but see what are we talking about there? There's a really funny story there, and actually the video that you saw in that is my actual UFO footage. I was out with my friend Ash getting pizza, and we totally saw shit that we didn't know what it was. But anyway, you can go and find out what the real story is over at that thing there. And as well as Bonk City, I'm going to show you a little trailer for that right now because you're going to enjoy that one too. So have a look at this. So these are some of the reasons that I'm having a little bit of a break from this at the moment. However, I'm going to figure out how to do shorts or whatever they are, because there is 100 episodes, and that means that there's little bits there that are probably going to be humorous enough for me to clip out and add into the most disgusting format of all time, the friggin' portrait landscape on portrait format on phones, and upload them as shorts for you guys to mindlessly scroll through, because that's good for a few reasons. I feel like I'm continuing to put out more stuff, which I sort of am, even though it's like snippets of other things. But also, it's going to gain more traction for this thing. So, and not just for my own gratification, but I really think that there's some cool stuff here. There are a couple of other channels that are doing what I'm doing, and they are doing a fantastic job. Like, it's a lot better than what I'm doing, a lot more refined. And they are two channels called Home Studio Simplified and Chris Leapy. Those two guys have it nailed, and they are great. I mean, the thumbnails are a bit funny, but I've got a thing with YouTube and thumbnails. Never mind that. Those guys are slaying it, and they're doing a great job. They've got other things to focus on, so it's not their main source of content, where for me, that's all I do. That's all I've been doing. I don't even know if I can do anything else. We'll find out. I do have ideas on things that I would like to do, but those guys have some really cool stuff covered. So, yeah, support them as well. Support me more, because they don't need it. They've got hundreds of thousands of views, millions in some case. But support me, but those guys are great as well, so you can check out what they're doing. The future, okay? So what do I want to do? I would love to... I'm sitting in a room right now. You can barely see because it's lit blue. Behind is that's a Korg Poly 6. Yeah, just making sure. There is a Korg MS-20 Mini. Behind that, there is a Roland RS-09. And below that, there is a SH1... What is it there? 100. System 100, and below that again, which you can hardly see because my chair is in the way, is a Roland ProMars. And it's in perfect condition as well. Not only that, there's a DX7, a Korg Poly 61, and a Juno 106 over here. I've got drum machines coming out of my ears, and I would love to do videos on each individual piece, including this mixer that you've seen sitting behind me pretty much most of the time. That's my Tascam. What's that? The M3. 312, yeah. It is. Yeah. The M312. That's a cool little transformer coupled like, is it? It's a cool little mixer. It's dirty, it's old, and it sounds nice and grotty analog, and I'd really, really love to use that on something before I probably sell it to my mate Sam. He really, really wants it. But I want to do some videos based on that as the spring weather gets good. I've got this gorgeous little patio area at the front. I'd love to sit outside with some synths and just have a bit of a play and really relearn everything, because I have not played with these things for so long. I just want to start from the start. I'm not having to talk. I'm not having to address this situation with professional synth people who are coming to me for advice, because I'm not one. I just want to rediscover these things from scratch, and let's go to the 101 level and just learn about it. and just express it as I learn about it. And you guys can come and learn about it too. I'm never going to profess that I know everything about a certain topic, because I don't. The stuff you're listening to now is me in my raw thoughts reacting to these things. And I want to do that. I want to react to my own synths and figure out, why the fuck do I have all this shit? Because honestly, guys, I've got so much shit in here, I don't even know what to do with it. So I either need to start using it or piss it off. Or maybe I'll use it so I feel like that I have done something with it, and then I can piss it off. Because I swear, what I paid for these things is way lower than what they're worth now, and it'd be really, really beneficial to me to get rid of a few little bits and pieces. So hey, maybe you could be one of the people who buys an old synth from me. But I'd love to do that. Not only that, I have some really lovely friends in the industry who still work in there and working at varying levels, whether it be in music, in film, in television, as a producer, as an engineer, as a director, as whatever it is, in all these really cool creative art forms. And maybe in the future, I'd really love to do like a one-on-one interview style thing with them. That's on the cards. I'd love to do that. I think it's a different point to how we did the Flow State podcast, and I think it's more of a pointed interest in something that I'm got a little more knowledge in. So it would be really good to do just by myself with the person. I think would be a lot of fun. And I always wanted to know what is a producer, right? So I thought about calling it maybe WTF is a, and then producer, and then just talk to all the producers about what's going on there. So these are some things that I'd like to work on in the future, and I'd really love to hear what you guys think. Only because I care about what you think. And I think that you guys should never do what anybody else thinks, and never do what everybody else wants you to do. I'm going to always do, and I think that we should all take this as well, and this is me just telling myself this, we should always do what we want and what we think is best. Obviously, if we're not hurting anybody, we should do what we feel is right and what we feel is fun. And the only real way for something to be fun is if it isn't hard. And that's not to say that you shouldn't do things that are hard. It's to say that if you do things that are hard, you get good enough at them for them to become fun. And I want to do things that I know that I've done enough that are now fun for me. And talking shit to people is one of those things. I've done it for a long time. I can do it. And I think it would be fun and easy to be able to talk to somebody. The only thing that I worry about is that we don't all run on the same time. So it may be a bit of a logistical thing to do that, get people together and have a consistency there. And combat to that is also just in my unbridled rantings that you are luckily and thankfully stuck around for the last 20 minutes to listen to. I think it's really good to set limits. A new thing for me, trust me. I think it's really good to set a goal and a limit. So when I say I want to do all these things, I'm not saying I'm going to do them tomorrow. I'm not saying I'm going to do them within the next month. I'm saying that these things may take a 12-month period. And when they do, I want them to be good enough. So that means there could be a 10-part series. There could be a 5-part thing. The idea to do the Earth, Wind and Fire stuff in a 7-parter, because I had these 7 sessions and have them themed, was another one of those things. However, it fell through. It flowed so easy to just continue to do what I was doing, and I managed to finish off on a really, really great song, You Can't Hide Love, which turned out to be a cover. Who knew? See, learning. But yeah, I think setting a limit on that and maybe doing these small series in parts, I think would be a much wiser idea for my own health and for my own sense of variety. I joke a lot about not playing the game on YouTube, and I stand by that quite honestly. I had a bit of a joke about, a bit of a whimsy on the thumbnails situation, right? Now, I don't ever want to get caught out having big yellow block letters going, producer reacts, or anything like that. And that's not to have a crack at any of the other guys who are doing that, but I just don't feel like that's not me. I mean, I'm a massive dickhead and I'm a goofball and I like to talk shit, but it's cringe factor to me to have to play the game that YouTube want me to do. And nobody wants to do that, trust me. People just want people to watch their videos. But I would rather that be I would rather be the way I want YouTube to be in the next 5 years than the way YouTube wants me to be right now, because that ain't going to last. Have a look at YouTube 5 years ago even. Have a look at YouTube when Ray William Johnson left. just before it got big. He was like the first dude. He got up there and then he pissed off. And then it all changed. It all became different. Just checking out some of my recent thumbnails was recommended to me by a young man named Cooper, who was like, do this, do this, do this. I'm like, yeah, but I don't really want to because I don't want to play that game. And so you had to have something up, so it was just a screenshot from the video. Until I realised, hey, I'll play a little bit of the video in there and I can take a screenshot out of it and just enlarge it while I'm waiting for the thing to upload. I do really want to update those thumbnails and get them to look a little more, like I said, the way I think YouTube should be rather than the way that it is. And rather than flash in the pan shit with titles like, you won't believe when, I want them to be like an album. You know, like a photo book. You can crack it open, because you guys don't know what a real album is, right? Like a proper big folder, and it's called Midnight Mixes, and you crack it open. Page 1, it's Queen. Page 2, it's Queen. Page 3, there's a few Queens in there. But you can see each thing, and there's a little bit of consistency there, and I want that to be the way that this thing is seen and represented. So by this stage, I mean, I haven't done that yet, but hopefully if you're new to this place and you're just checking out some random 25-minute rant of some wanker with a beer hat on, then you will see that those thumbnails have changed. This will probably be a clickbait title, though. Anyway, that's probably about enough of me talking absolute garbage now. All I wanted to really say was thank you all. And I mean, I finish every episode by thanking people and stuff like that. But I mean, like, I actually mean it. Like, I really, like, it's not just like, oh my God, I'm on YouTube, I got to thank people. No, I actually fucking mean it. I really do. It's been so great to have, like, just a really, really strong community of people who, I mean, everybody wants to be liked, right? They really do. I mean, and it's weird when it happens. It's weird when people are nice to you and you don't know them. And it means a lot. It really does. So thank you all. If you're still watching, you probably want to know what GFY means. Well, that's a story for another day, but I would like to go and finish this water. And I want you to say hi to your mates for me. And say hi to me too, because now I'm yours. Thank you all very much. And yeah, we'll catch you on the other side of this. Don't forget to check out those things I've sent you links to. And GFY. Bye.